What is up, CSBA? Welcome to the Final Four pregame show. Joining me, we got a lot of guys here tonight. We got Dicky joining me in the booth. What's up, Dicky? How are you doing, buddy?
Yo, what's good? What's up, CSBA? I'm excited. We got the final four teams. We lit. Let's go.
Yeah, I can't believe we got to the Final Four. It's crazy. Illinois, Texas Tech. We've got Iowa, Miami, the Final Four. None of these teams have gotten or have ever won a national championship. Obviously, I was a little overzealous saying the Final Four the other day, so sorry about that. But Santa's coming around on my fire engine, so you could hear that probably in the background. So that's kind of funny. But yeah, I mean, none of these teams, Dickie, have been to the national championship game and have won. So we will be crowning a champion for the very first time ever this season. What's your thoughts about that? About these four teams?
And man, that's exciting. We season 7, and we still got a new champion. You know, we still introducing new champions. So man, it's great. I mean, all four of these teams are kind of built differently a little bit when you look at the makeups of these four teams and how they thrive and how they become successful here in March Madness. So we get to see each team play their kind of their own game rather than, you know, try to mimic each other and get to that next level.
Yeah, for sure. And I think there's a lot of excitement from a lot of these teams. I think, you know, the good part about the CSBA is we have so many good coaches throughout the ranks, throughout the league. And, you know, one of the things that is super pivotal for our league is to have good coaches. And I think this season we probably saw our best crop ever. So I'm excited. And it's nice to see the tables flip a little bit and see some new blood getting out there and developing and building their programs up to get us to this point. So I'm pumped. I'm pumped for tonight and for Wednesday for our national championship game. So
Yeah, it's lit, man. We lit. We got 3 different conferences represented here in this one. You know, we have a chance, you know, maybe of a same conference natty, but it's big games ahead of them for both those teams to try to make it to that next step.
yeah, for sure. Let's introduce the rest of the guys. We're gonna jump over to you and see Webb, who we're gonna be covering off on Illinois and Texas Tech in our first game. What's up, C Webb? Welcome to the stream, buddy.
Yeah,
Dicky, obviously.
glad to be here. Excited for tonight. Like you said, new national champion going to be crowned on Wednesday, and only one of these teams has actually been to the Final Four too, with Miami. So you know, pretty exciting there.
Yeah, for sure. Before we kind of jump into the nitty gritty, I mean, anything that you're excited about in either one of these games, you know, that kind of gets you pumped up for this Final Four and for the championship.
Well, I mean, I'm going to be talking about the Illinois game here in a little bit, so I'm going to go with the other game and talk a little bit about the fact that we've got GFC Connor and Pax taking on each other. That's a huge coaching matchup.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's interesting. I think if the way the game's kind of settled in, if I had to, and I'm sure Dickie probably would agree with this, but I think the way the two matchups worked out, I think the two teams within those two games compare very well against. They stack up well against each other, in my opinion.
Yeah, they really do. You know, Illinois has been a surprise team throughout the tournament, but I think they definitely have what it takes to get the job done against Texas Tech tonight.
Yeah, for sure. I think it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. I mean, each team is so deep. We'll get into a little bit more about the individual teams and stuff here in a minute. Let's flip over to our other two panelists. What's up, AA Ron with his chinchilla microphone, and what's up, Dahl? What's up, guys?
Leave my microphone out of this wire.
We were joking about that on the stream chat, and before Dickie said that his microphone, his boom cover looked like a chinchilla. So, but yeah, you got 2 games tonight. Obviously, Aaron, you're the resident expert on Iowa, and Dalton's going to cover Miami. What's real quickly? Just give me a little bit of your take, kind of what we asked C-Web here.
Yeah, I mean, this Iowa team has definitely proven, especially late in this tournament cycle, to be an incredibly capable squad. You know, especially their game last time out against Florida. The poor Gators got absolutely killed by Pax and his superior game planning in that one. But got to be facing some tough competition against Miami tonight. I think both Iowa and Miami pretty similar philosophy. So it's going to be interesting to see how they pair up against each other here.
Yeah, they definitely ran into a buzz. So Iowa was definitely prepared. I don't think Florida expected a lot of what they got in that game. Flipping the script over, Dalton. What's up, buddy? Hope you're feeling better. Appreciate you joining. I think you had a little touch of food poisoning earlier today, right?
Well, I was just referring to I'm finna be Michael Jordan flu game in the booth tonight with Mr. Dick, but it was actually food poisoning that he had, not the flu.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, no, I'm most excited about another champion being crowned. I mean, obviously this is my first time in the championship rounds, and yeah, I mean everything with the CSBA. So it's my first time seeing a champion being crowned, but for it to be a first time champion is really dope, and you know all these four teams are going to have to really play, and I'm excited to see like all the matchups and what the schemes, what the coaches decide to draw for the schemes and everything. But yeah, I'm just thankful to be here, man. Just
Yeah,
happy.
I mean you're very well liked across the league. A lot of people love that you've kind of joined our broadcast crew, and I'm loving the fact that you made a player. So we'll be excited to see you as part of the league next season. So that's exciting.
Yeah.
I think everybody was hoping you would. Makes you that much more invested, and you've been invested since the jump. So we're thrilled to have you. Let's really quickly jump into the first game and talk a little bit about the starting lineups. Let's go over right now to the Illinois Texas Tech. We'll give you guys a little sneak peek of the starting lineup for the Fighting Illini. At point guard, Duke Derringer. At the shooting guard, Gage Ziegler. Kerry Prince going to be at the 3 spot, the small forward. Ricky Rowe at the power forward, and Guillermo Ochoa at center. And we get to see a little bit of the bench here really quickly. C. Webb, I know you're covering off on the Illinois. What's your thoughts on the starting lineup here for the Illini?
I mean, this is going to be an interesting matchup. Way they've got this set up for Texas Tech. Ochoa kind of, you don't know if he's going to come off the bench or start. So maybe a little bit of a surprise to see him in the starting lineup, but good defensive answer from them against Tyler Deathridge of Texas Tech. So I definitely like the lineup that they've got going on here. Also like that they chose to start Prince at the small forward. Somebody's going to need to take care of CJ Mack, and hopefully he's going to be the answer there.
Yeah, Prince only averaging 4.3 points per game. So, Coach Willie obviously trying to play a little bit of a chess game here, feature his best players within certain positions, and then obviously coming off the bench, you got Terry Mbaku, who's been amazing for the Illini all season, and has just him and Buckets have done a phenomenal job off the bench. So, looking for a little bit of a balanced lineup from what it looks like here. Let's flip the script and take a look at the Texas Tech starting lineup. So coming in at the point guard position is going to be other than Bobby Jackson. At the shooting guard, C.J. Mack. At the small forward, Musa Grosjean. Power forward, Tyler Deathridge. And Kai Avery coming in at the center spot. Dickie, talk to us a little bit about the Texas Tech Red Raiders here and their starting lineup.
Yeah, the Texas Tech Red Raiders, they're going with a lineup that a lot of people are familiar with if you've watched Texas Tech games. And it's just been their bread and butter, which is why they're on this win streak that they're on. You got their assist leader starting at point guard, Bobby Jackson. He's been killing it, getting dimes. Him and CJ Mack arguably could be the best backcourt in the CSBA with those two guys averaging combined averaging almost 10 assists a game, and with CJ Mack, his scoring ability, that's going to be a really tough challenge in the backcourt for the Fighting Illini. I think it's going to be a great matchup at the 1 with him and Bobby Jackson and Duke Derringer. And then the rest of the starting lineup for this Texas Tech team, they have a very great rangy guy at that small forward position, Musa Grosjean. He's been very quiet but very efficient. Shooting it above 50% from 3. So he's definitely a guy that can get it stroking from downtown as well as play great defense. And Deathridge, there's no need to explain him. If you've been around this league, you know what kind of player, what kind of playmaker Deathridge can leave on a game. And having him at that 4 position, he's been thriving in it all season. So it makes sense to have him there tonight. And Kai Avery, the young sophomore getting to start at center. That's what they ran him there, and he's been playing really well and knowing his role, almost averaging 8 and 8 at that center position. I think we're going to see Texas Tech ball out there tonight. Finger guns up. This squad is looking to do the unthinkable, do what Matt couldn't do.
Yeah, let me ask you a real quick question, Dickie, about the Red Raiders and just looking at their bench. Do you think that the Red Raiders are putting a little bit of all their eggs in one basket in their starting lineup?
Maybe a little bit, but I mean, and when it comes down to it, fourth quarter crunch time, you want your best five out there, and it's going to show that it's worked in their favor this season. Was scared in the first round by LSU. So it was a scare there, but at the end of the game, they buckled down that starting five, led by the seniors. They have a countless amount of seniors on this team, 3 seniors, Deathridge, Bobby Jackson, and CJ Mack. Or not CJ Mack, I'm sorry, Stanley Steamer. All 3 of those guys, show that veteran presence. So I think they're definitely not putting all. I think that's a smart move, trying to put your best foot forward in a starting lineup.
All right, C-Web, flipping it over to you. Obviously, you've gotten to see both lineups. You're the head coach. How you feeling if you're Illinois, just looking at those lineups?
I mean, if I'm Illinois right now, I'm worried about my number one guy, Ricky Rowe. At the fortunes of him, pretty much, the fortunes of Illinois follow. If he struggles to get points, and he may against Deathridge, one of the best defenders in the league, and has the speed to maybe contain Rowe. The only thing I would be concerned about from a Texas Tech perspective is that Rowe does have that speed, and nobody's really been able to contain him so far throughout the tournament. Looking at some of the other matchups, they're going to have to find an answer for CJ Mack. Dickie was talking about it earlier. He's possibly part of one of the best backcourts in the nation. So Derringer and Ziegler are going to have to come up big back there and really maybe play a lot of switches. Just make sure they don't get lost in the screens and allow him to get as open as he can from 3-point range. And if he gets hot, it's going to be a tough night.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Both these teams, I think there's some really good players across. I mean, when we talked about it in the very beginning of this, we were talking a little bit about how I feel like the 2 matchups just set up perfectly against each other as far as like talent is concerned, in my opinion. So I think it should be an interesting matchup. You guys made some really, really strong points. Let's take a look at the keys to tonight's game. Talk us a little bit. Take us through the Illinois keys, and then Dickie, talk us through about the Texas Red Raiders keys.
Number one key to the game tonight, Illinois has got to get the lead early, and they have got to hold on to it. When Illinois has fallen behind this season, they've struggled. They're not the best team playing catch-up. They were able to come back against Tennessee, showed a lot of resilience there when they got down a few points late, came back to win the game in thrilling fashion. I think that did a lot for this team in terms of confidence in those kinds of situations, but they need to play from the lead. They don't want to be playing from behind against Tech. Second key to the game, already talked about it a little bit, but Ricky Rowe, 18.8 points a game, 6.4 rebounds per game on the season, and he had 22, 5, and 7 rebounds in the last game. 22 points, 5 assists, and 7 rebounds in the last game. So against some tough competition at Tennessee and against the Egyptian Prince Mufasa himself, put up some big numbers, and that's an impressive performance. If he gets hot tonight, Texas Tech is going to be in a world of hurt trying to slow him down. And finally, we've said it multiple times, shut down CJ Mack. There needs to be hands in his face on every shot he takes. I don't care if they foul him. You're better sending him to the line than letting him take an open look from 3.
Yeah, for sure. I know Illinois is falling, and just to kind of touch real quickly on your points before we flip it over to Dickie to go through the Texas Tech keys. I've seen a lot of Illinois play this year. They have, when they've struggled early, they've fallen behind in a big way. It takes a lot, and we've learned this across the CSBA. It takes a lot to dig out of a hole against good teams. We've also seen situations where we've seen when Ricky Rowe gets shut down, Illinois has a hard time figuring out who to go to next. So if I'm the Texas Red Raiders, I am focusing all my defensive efforts on him. And then CJ Max has just been so explosive all season. He can fill it up from the outside as well as in the interior, runs the floor, probably better than some of a lot of the other players across the CSBA. So Illinois is going to have their hands full for sure with Texas Tech. All right, Dickie, talk to us about the keys to the game for the Red Raiders.
Well, for the Red Raiders, they gotta, they're a fast-paced team. They got to get out in the break and build a lead on Illinois. We've seen, it's very hard to overcome a lead when a team is playing really good. And a team like them, they like to shoot the ball and shoot it lights out. If they can come out here and get it cooking from downtown, they can definitely get the win with that. And they also need to own the boards. They've been out rebounded twice here in the tournament so far, in the first round and then this last round against USC. And that showed that, they kind of struggled in that one where, they came down to a, late game situation, and those rebounds really played a pivotal role in helping USC stay in that fight. And also they got to get Bobby Jackson involved. To start the tournament, he started really quiet, single-digit scoring outings in the first couple games. But the last 2 games, he's been in double digits, 18 to be exact in the last one. In that Elite Eight, they got to get him cooking and get him going early in this one to keep pace, because Ricky Rowe can definitely get it going scoring. They're going to have somebody like that to get it going offensively, and getting ahead of Duke Derringer. That's going to be a tough matchup in my opinion.
What just really quickly, both from UC Web and Dickie, who's your picks here? Who you got winning? You have to go, put the gun to your head.
I mean, I might do, even though I was recapping Illinois, I think I favor Texas Tech, and my main reason is because of their defense. They are the best defensive team in the CSBA. I've harped on it on a couple podcasts now, and they've been my favorite since the tournament began, just seeing the way that they play defense. That being said, however, Illinois is a super talented offensive team, and Tech did struggle to contain USC. And Bjorn Johansson, who, I hate to say it, Ricky Rowe looking a lot like him.
Dickie, what's your thoughts? We just lost somebody. Of course we did. Did we lose C-Web? Yeah, Dickie. Dalton's going to be featured twice. All the cameras are going to be screwed up.
My opinion, I like to go with let me go with the finger bang gang. We're gonna rock out with them tonight. I think they're gonna win it, and I got them as a favorite out of the 4 teams to win the Natty, in my opinion. But I just think that this Texas Tech team just been on a mission so far this year, and especially as of late, in their last 9 games, they've been on a big tear. So I think they will move on. It's gonna be a tough game for them, but I got Texas Tech winning this matchup.
All right, let's take a look at the other games. So 2 picks for Texas Tech. Aaron and Dalton, just to chime in here, I would love to know how you guys feel real quickly about this.
I mean, C-Web and Dickie definitely brought up some good points about Texas Tech, and they definitely, I think, have an advantage in this one. But if Tech isn't able to shut down Ricky Rowe, we've seen him the past few games just go on an absolute tear. Plus, if Illinois is able to get the likes of Gage Ziegler going, assuming I have my teams right. Oh, God.
You're right.
Not Gage.
Gage is on
Ziegler.
Illinois. Yep.
Yeah, if they're able to get, Gage Ziegler and Guillermo Ochoa going as well for Illinois, I think Texas Tech may find themselves struggling, especially as the game rolls later on.
And Dalton.
Texas Tech, man. I think C-Web kind of touched on it. Pause, but they've got really good D. And I think that Texas Tech is going to be able to make more plays defensively to reward their offense more of a chance to get the lead and make it almost an insurmountable amount. I know that one of the keys to the game for Illinois is to get the lead early. And on the opposite side, Texas Tech is to build a big lead. I think they will have a big lead in the game. It's just up to them and their defense if they can keep that difference. But I like Texas Tech in this one. I believe is that Aaron? Did you just go Texas Tech? My mind just went blank. Or did you go Illinois?
I went Texas Tech, but I think Illinois will give them a challenge if Rowe, Ziegler, and Ochoa get going.
All right,
Got you. So
Texas Tech sounds like the panel's going Texas Tech. Just to keep my allegiance with my team, I'm going to pick Illinois, but That's
Uh-huh.
Listen, I said all season Texas Tech was my dark horse, so but I think Illinois gets them. We'll see how it is. And I'm not streaming the game. You don't gotta worry about any power surges going on. Dickie's gonna be streaming that one with Dalton, so hopefully we're trying to get C-Web back. His connection disconnected, so the cameras are gonna be all jacked. But let's jump into the starting lineups to the Iowa and Miami game here. So starting out for Iowa, here's C-Web. He's back. He's connecting. All right, Bismack Abubakar coming in at the point guard spot. St. Maximum over at shooting guard. TT Clower is going to get the start at the small forward. Griffey Martin at the power forward, and going with Drake Blankham at center. So an interesting lineup there. Talk to me a little bit about this Iowa starting lineup, Ron.
Yeah, so this is actually the exact same lineup that Iowa brought against Florida, and we saw that bench unit of Blanco, White Chocolate, Demora, Paca, and Blackman put up 50 points between them off of the bench. So, Pac's definitely playing a chess match against Miami here, going with something that worked extremely well in their game last week, and trying to bolster their bench unit up a bit more, even if it means that it's going to give Griffey Martin a tough time defensively.
And real quickly, Dalton, what's your thoughts on this Iowa lineup? And we'll jump over to the Miami lineup here in a second.
Forget when I said it, but I think it was a pod, or it may have been, I don't even remember, but I was curious to see where Paca would be in this matchup, and to see that he's coming off the bench is going to be very interesting. We saw him put up, I believe it was 19 points in 13 minutes last time he was off the bench. Don't quote me on that. But he had a hell of a performance nonetheless. So it's going to be really curious. I think this bench unit with Demora, Paca, and Blackman, and even going down to the guards, Blanco and Chocolate, I think this is like the scariest team on paper to look at. So it's going to be very interesting. I mean, the starting lineup is really good too. So they're stacked.
Yeah, I mean, Iowa's a very deep team to begin with. I think when you look at their team just in general, and interesting, the way they run their bench, the way they have their starting lineup. Some of these guys are playing not in their natural positions. So Iowa's been very successful with it all season long. I think Coach Pax definitely gives you a different look every single game. So just looking at that alone, it'll be interesting to see how this one works out and how it stacks up against Miami. Let's take a look at Miami's starting lineup. So for the Hurricanes, point guard Anthony Delano, shooting guard Melo Harris, small forward Sleepy Blaylock, Seymour Butts coming in at the power forward spot, and that should say Omari Diallo. I apologize. That is a typo. I thought I fixed that, but I guess it didn't. So apologies there. That's Omari Diallo there, number at the center spot. But talk to me a little bit about this Miami lineup here.
Well, the Miami lineup is absolutely nothing to front. I mean, you have arguably the best best passer in the league. As a whole, Anthony Delano coming in averaging 6 assists a game. He's actually the leading assister in the country total, but he is 0.1 average away from that. Melo Harris is a guy that can shoot with the best of them, 61% from three. And we all know about Seymour Butts. I mean, he's averaging 75% from the field, 67% from three, and 92% from the free throw. This is one of the best shooters in the entire country, and he's also 14th in efficiency. So, I mean, this entire lineup right here it's like I said, nothing to laugh at all. And even coming off the bench, CDC, you got other guys that are able to score with anybody else too. Randall Althor off the bench too. Wilt Malone, who's 8th in total defensive rebounds. So I mean, you got a lot of guys that are capable for this Miami team.
All right, you guys have both seen both starting lineups. Real quick takes. We got about 10 minutes left in this pregame show. Give me your quick takes. Obviously, also 69 of you guys, 70, 80 or whatever the numbers. It keeps flipping all over. But make sure you stick around. There is something very special at the very end of the broadcast, so you're not going to want to miss that. But guys, real quick, just give me your takes. You saw both starting lineups. Anything that stands out at you? Any matchups that you're keying on here? Maybe the pivotal points of the game.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of alluded to it when I was going through Iowa's starting lineup, but Griffey Martin's going to have a tough time, I think, with Seymour Butts defensively. Griffey Martin is not a bad player by any stretch of the imagination. He's one of the better players on this Hawkeye team, but up against a young blood talent like Seymour Butts, Martin may have a real tough task ahead of him that could be to Iowa's detriment in this game.
What about you, Dalton? What's your thoughts?
Well, Miami has beaten two top teams in the league in the past 4 weeks. North Carolina and Gonzaga, ACC champs, averaging almost 90 points a game on a 7-game win streak. I got to rock with the Hurricanes, baby. You see the drip. You see the drip, man. So I got to rock with the Hurricanes on this one of the hottest teams. Only one senior, too, so that's really scary, having team come back.
I love it. Love the take, guys. Yeah, it should be an interesting matchup. I think obviously Iowa's hoping that we don't have another incident where Griffey Martin fouls out in the first half like he did the other night. Obviously, I think that took a lot of people by surprise, but Iowa was able to still hold on for the W. So obviously that's a very interesting matchup between Butts and a lockdown defender in Griffey Martin. Let's take a look at the keys to the game. Talk to me, Aaron, a little bit about these Iowa keys to the game.
Yeah, one of Iowa's best points is how deadly they are in transition. A key to how good their defense is. Of the 4 teams in the Final Four, Iowa the second best defense as far as points allowed this season at 925. It definitely shows that there's a lot of capable defenders on this team, and if they're able to get a lot of easy buckets in transition and kind of melt past the transition defense of Miami, definitely a good key for them. Of course, we touched on it, the bench production from Illinois. Miami's bench initially definitely had a slight edge, but with the starting lineups the way they are, I think that edge kind of pushes the way of Iowa, especially if they can get big games out of the likes of Alpaca, Blackman, and Bertha Demora. And then finally stopping Seymour Butts. If Iowa is able to lock down Miami's biggest scorer, Miami's going to have to rely on a lot of their other players in order to make up a lot of the production that Butts has produced for them this season. And while they have players that are capable of that, I don't necessarily think they're up to the level of dominance that we've seen from Seymour Butts this season.
Yeah, I mean, ever since that arc change at the end of the season, Miami has just been an absolutely different team. So Iowa's going to have their hands full with him. I don't think anybody has really been able to lock him down yet at this point throughout the tournament. So I think the last game was a little lower, but I think Miami got a little bit more balanced scoring through the lineup. So we'll see how that plays out. Switching over to Miami, talk to us, Dalton. Bring us through these keys to the game.
Yeah, so secondary scoring, we all know how efficient Seymour Butts is. We all know how good he is. I just touched on that. But you're gonna have to get other guys involved too. You're gonna have to have your Robin show up to your Batman, and who else other to do it than the senior on the team, Anthony Delano, best passer, averaging just under 12 points a game, part of the 50-40-90 club. So you're gonna need somebody to show up alongside Seymour Butts, because we know he's probably gonna get it done more than likely. And then high percentage looks. We know that Iowa doesn't take a lot of threes, but when they do, they are very lethal. They have 4 guys shooting over 50% from the perimeter. And the last thing you want to do is get into a shootout with people shooting at that high of a clip. So, you're going to want to bring the ball inside the lane and get some good, close shots, some nice finishes, and some mid-range too. But we all know how good the Miami defense is. I think they and Texas Tech have the 2 top defenses remaining, and 2 of the best in the entire country. So we know that they have the ability to shut teams down. So Iowa is a team that can really explode offensively. So they're going to have to, withstand the runs, take those punches, be able to get back up and deliver their own. So the key for them is to, hit those high percentage shots, get good looks, not extend possessions into late shot clock attempts and really control the game on their end. So if you can defend Iowa in the half court, you have a really good chance of winning the game.
Yeah, I think the one thing, and this is a key for Miami, if they can play lockdown defense, force Iowa to take, maybe if they can even get them to shoot under 50%, I think that's going to put Miami out in transition. And I think between the half court sets with Seymour Butts being the feature, then obviously whatever you get out in transition is generally going to be a high percentage look. So defense certainly going to be a key there to give that extra shot in the arm for those high percentage looks in transition. So we'll see. But Iowa does a really good job of getting back in transition game in and game out. So it's been a tall task for many teams that have played against them. Let's really quickly, guys, just Dalton and Aaron, just talk to me a little bit. Give me your prediction on this game.
Well, I mean, after seeing the lineups and everything, I definitely think this one's going to be close between Miami and Iowa. But as it stands currently with how the lineups have shaken out, I do think Iowa has a slight advantage, especially if they're able to get the type of production off the bench that they were able to get against Florida last week. So I'm going to go with Iowa here, as much as it might pain my Ohio State heart.
Dalton.
I think it's going to be a bit kind of like the Tennessee game where, Tennessee found themselves really, really down to Illinois and then came all the way back. I feel like it may be a heavy hitter in that sense of where a team may find themselves with a large lead early and then lose it, and then it comes down to the wire at that point. You never really know what you're really getting as far as simulated games go, but it should be a really fun one, and hoping it comes down to the wire. I don't know how Dickey is with his what type of sliders he's got, what type of all the business he's got. So I'm looking forward to it.
C-Web, Dickey, bring us really quickly your picks, predictions on this game. You've seen the lineups, you've seen, you've got to see a little bit of the keys to the game. What's your predictions?
I think I'm leaning toward Miami in this one. I've played them 3 times this season. They gave me a pretty good whooping all 3 times, and only one of those was before the Seymour Butts art change, which was the closest we got. So they're just a really good, deep team. They really don't have a lot of weaknesses, and none that I can really expound too much on. They're a little bit lower scoring than the Hawkeyes, but I don't really think that's going to hurt them at the end of the game. I'm taking Miami.
Dickey.
Hey, I know this is a tough game. Got much respect for both these coaches. I mean, both these are legends in the CSBA under the coaching ranks. They've gotten their flowers. If they haven't already, here are your flowers, gentlemen. But I'm gonna have to stick with the Big Ten for the one time. Go Hawkeyes, let's go.
I like it.
I got them winning this one. Pack's showing that he ain't washed for now. But yeah, I got him winning this one. So
all right, so 50-50 split from the panel. I'm gonna be honest. I really don't have a selection in this game because I honestly think it's going to come down to literally a last-second shot at the buzzer. May even go to overtime, double overtime. It just to me, it has the makings and writings on the wall to be just that. I don't know why, but these teams all 4 teams match up so well. This should be an exciting Final Four. I'm praying we don't have any dud sims. I think the whole CSBA is rooting for that. But before we head off, I just want to say everybody, we're gonna don't leave the stream yet. We got one last surprise for you. It's gonna be there's a video for you guys that before we sign off, and as soon as it's over, the broadcast will end. Thank you, Pax, for putting that together. Obviously, thank you to Aaron, Dalton, Dickey, C-Web. Thank you guys so much for being on the stream. Appreciate everybody hanging out. I think I saw a high of 100 people in the stream, and I think we're at like 70 now. So thank you guys for the support. Remember, 15 minutes from now, you got game number 1 of the 2. So you make sure you stick around with that for that. But thank you for your support. Yeah. Thank you guys for joining me. Let's throw up the hype video so you guys all can see it, and we'll see you guys in about 15 minutes as soon as this is over.
Get Richard. Oh my God.